So this is Indiana Jones' final chapter. How do you feel like it worked as a conclusion? Do you think it was satisfying?
I think it was satisfying. And I think it was satisfying because for Harrison Ford, it was satisfying. It was a satisfying end for him. And I really appreciate something he said to Ali Plum for BBC Radio 1. And he said, the thing I admire most about these films is the depth, the subtlety of emotion, the portion, and the importance of emotion in these films. As this last one concerned age, frailty, and the changing nature of life, it was especially compelling to me because I am of that age and I wanted it to feel real for the audience. I wanted them to see the complexity of that experience with someone they've spent 40 years with.
It felt very authentic. It felt like he's still Indiana Jones, obviously, but he's Indiana Jones at this age.
Yeah. And it just, so many of us, we've grown up with Harrison Ford and his entire filmography. We've seen him go from a 30-year-old man to now being an 80-year-old man. And it felt really important for us to see what it would really be like for Indiana Jones at that age, where life hasn't been giving and has continued to take things away, and about finding your place in a world that's constantly changing.
A good background event to have the moon landing, because that's something outside of his depth. Yes, he dealt with aliens last movie, but it still was something like he's rooted in history while this major step forward into the future happened right when he's retiring from work, from teaching. And yeah, it's him letting go, but also holding on to what he still has.
So I mentally prep myself that there's a possibility that maybe Indy will die in this. Because I was jaded, like Harrison was jaded, that like he wanted Han Solo to die, and Han Solo died. So I was mentally prepared. I was like, is he killing off all his legacy characters? Is this it? And when he wanted to stay at that battle, I was like, sir, what are you doing?
What is your plan?
And so I was mentally prepared for that. But the nice thing about this movie is that it still ends on a really hopeful, beautiful note, that even when your life is at that waning stage, that there are things to still look forward to and enjoy. And there are still moments to be had.
You might think the world is done with you. You're like, okay, I'm a relic now. I'm from a different time. But no, there's still more for him. He still has family.
Yes, he still has people who care for him. And it's what makes when Marion comes back in so beautiful. Like, they've shared this incredible life together through the ups and the downs, but they've still got each other through thick and thin.
Yeah. And when he needed her, she showed up. And she's there. I got groceries. She's just like helping him. It was just a very sweet moment.
Yeah. And I think my favorite moment in the whole movie is when they recreate their scene from Raiders. It's just the most beautiful thing that brought so many tears to the eyes. So I think that because Indy has always been like those feel-good type movies, I think that this film was right. And it felt right for a final chapter of a series that has always brought hope and adventure and like fun to the audiences that have enjoyed these films.
Yeah, you want that hero to win. It's inspired by those old serial adventure movies of the 20s and 30s. And you want the hero to get the girl. You want the hero to have a happy ending. And it is more complicated than those were, obviously, but we get that happy ending. And the very last scene is of him grabbing his hat from the clothesline, saying, nope, nobody else has this hat. This is mine. This is over. But it ends with him. And I love that because Harrison is Indiana Jones. I love the young Indiana Jones series as a kid. We started rewatching it. And yeah, all those actors do a great job portraying him, but at the heart, it's Harrison. Harrison is this character.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great end, considering
Yes.
what Indiana Jones is.
When I told a few people that, oh yeah, I saw this movie already, a lot of people asked, was this better than The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? And you know what? I rewatched it for the first time since it came out. I had seen the other movies again because nostalgia, but I think I was influenced too much on critics at that age. I was still in school. I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, critics know better than I do, but it's not that bad.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is the reason I really sat down and watched all of the Indiana Jones films from front to back and everything. And I read the novelization before the movie came out because that was a thing then. I knew what was going to happen in the movie. And I was so excited that Indy had a kid and stuff. And I was like, wow. I always get the warm fuzzies when I watch Kingdom of the Crystal Skull because it was that first indie film I got to see in theaters. And it had a special spot in my heart. But I can understand people not vibing with it because I was texting you this and stuff that I believe that it's almost a little too much for the normal indie audience to have something so supernatural as the MacGuffin, something like Alien, which is a little too much versus something that's rooted in religion and mythology as your MacGuffin.
Yeah.
I understand that. I respect that. I get that it's just not everyone's cup of tea. But I also respect the fact that George Lucas wanted aliens. And I'm like, George, you deserve the world. You do what you want to do.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg was like, George, I've done so much stuff with aliens. And he's fine. They're from a different dimension. Kind of thing.
I mean,
I would love to be a fly on that wall listening to those two men talk about Indiana Jones.
I still can't believe we were in the presence of those two men.
I know. I was like, the creator's here. George Lucas.
Make the maker.
Exactly. A crystal skull is better than a lot of people
Give it credit
have.
for.
Yeah, exactly. But I do think Dial of Destiny is better.
I think it fits with the franchise more.
Yeah, with the Dial is more rooted in mythology. And I feel like people will vibe with that more than Aliens. And I think Phoebe's a better adventure partner than Shia was.
Shia was a product of our generation that did not age well. Okay. It was just, it doesn't work anymore, unfortunately, for everyone.
But there's always this star that everyone's, okay, we're going to put them into every single franchise ever. He's got to be in this movie and that movie and this. And then it's, wow, maybe that was a mistake.
Franchises that Shia has been in are just the antithesis of what I would consider indie to be. I don't even know what kind of time frame you call it. It's like the late, early 2000s film.
The early aughts.
That it's just so hard to watch him in anything, especially probably for us because we grew up with him on Even Stevens. And like, he just really never grew beyond that for a lot of us unless you continued to stay with him and watched his independent work. That being said, that man is someone I would caution people not to support.
Yeah. It's hard to watch him and stuff knowing what we know now.
And that is a very unfortunate part of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Like, it's something you have to put it out of your mind in order to watch Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. At least Cate Blanchett is still.
She is amazing. I forgot how much I loved her. She hams it up.
I mean,
she's solid. Yeah, she's 110% in.
She did a great job. She was at a great point in her career then, because Curious Case of Benjamin Button came out not long after that. And she's just continued to grow. And Ray Winestone is great too. Like, he's a fun time. He's a good time. Yeah, Dial of Destiny is better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls. Yeah, went that the Crystal Skulls. Yeah, went that.